Okay, so let's take a look at how we're going to do this. I'm going to jump back to the resource pack and let's open up the 10th step, which is called making the API explicit. We'll copy this and we'll paste it in the index.php file, overwriting everything that's there, and save it. So a class has properties and it has methods. And each one of its properties, each one of its methods, has a certain visibility setting. By default, this is public. So when we set these settings and the form number in our form class, we set this to public. The public visibility setting says that this property can be used within the class or within any class that inherits from this class. It can also be used in instances of this class. Now there's two other visibility settings, which are protected and private. Protected means that it can't be accessed from instances of the class, and private means that it can't be accessed from instances and it can't be accessed within any classes that inherit from this class. In general, Drupal code only uses public visibility settings on methods and properties and specifies restrictions on how they should be used in other ways. But to be explicit about how you expect your code to be used, and in some cases actually restrict it, you can specify the visibility settings on each property and method manually. By default, everything is set to public. We already have public set for our two properties here. And then what we've done in this step is added visibility settings to every other method and property in this file. So let's scroll down and just take a look at each one of these. So the construct is public. And the reason why this needs to be public is that if we want to create an instance of this class, then the constructor has to be public because it's being called from the instance. We're setting build to public as well because we're going to call that from an instance. I'm going to scroll down. We have our validate function and we're setting that to private because it's only used within the context of this class. We don't actually call that from outside the class right now. In the future, we may want to open this up as part of the API, but for now, we're just being explicit about the way that we're using it and calling it private so that somebody doesn't interpret it in a public way when we didn't intend it to. We scroll down and we take a look at the submit function. We're also marking that private for the same reason. Okay, so we've carried over our abstract class from the previous example. We've already set all of our properties as public, and now we're setting the construct and build as public as well. Abstract just means that it can't be accessed directly anyways, so it serves as a kind of private marker and visibility. I'm going to scroll down. For our default page, we're making the theme method public, and we're making the theme method public in our printed page as well. For validator, we've specified both of our functions as public. These need to be public in order to be accessed in a static way. And then let's scroll down a little bit more. And for the builder, we have our properties set as public already. And then our render function is set to public. And then finally, our controller function is set to public as well. So now when a developer looks at this code, they're going to know exactly what you intended about the way that it should be used by other parts of the application. It will help make them more confident about what they should and shouldn't do. And also you, as the maintainer of this code, will feel more confident because you know when you refactor this code, how you're going to affect the integrations from other pieces of the application. In general, the idea is to keep visibility settings at the lowest possible level. That is, use the private visibility setting anywhere where you don't already need to use it in a public fashion. It's a lot easier opening up that visibility setting later than it is to retract anything that's too visible in the future.